And we're live.
Okay, welcome everyone. We'll call this meeting to order 6:03. Members present, we have Member Kissinger, Member Green, Member Allen, and Member McFadden. Let's see, we have Superintendent Aronakis, Director of Administration Bob Ross, our Director of Technology Jeremy Taylor. We have Legal Counsel Attorney Hennius. And I think I got everybody. Okay, just a reminder for the members, if you don't mind remaining mute when you're not speaking, it just helps with the audio. Use the raise hand function or *9 if you're on the phone, and I'll recognize you. And for members of the public, again, *9 on the phone or use your raise hand button if you'd like to address the committee. Okay. So we have open forum. If there's anyone who would like to address the school committee on something that is not on the agenda, you may do so now. I don't think we have anyone on that I can see. Jeremy, anybody on the phone?
No.
I don't see anybody else. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, we'll go to the consent agenda.
Okay, under consent, we have the approval of our minutes from October 13th, both regular meeting and executive session meeting. We have under personnel, resignation of someone we just appointed, and our monthly bills, as well as a couple of new homeschool requests. That's all.
Okay. Anyone like anything pulled or anyone have a question?
Executive meeting minutes from last meeting.
Yep. Lee, you weren't there. Diane, I don't think you were at the last meeting, correct? You're muted. Diane, you're muted. Maybe bottom left. Hover over it. I don't think Diane can unmute herself.
She's pressing a lot of buttons, though.
No, Diane, we can't hear you.
Diane, hover over the lower left-hand corner of your screen, and then a microphone will show up. And then just click on it to unmute it.
Jeremy, could Diane's be any place else on the screen? Mine's in the same place as Lee's.
Claudine, do you have the ability to unmute her or no?
No.
Jeremy's running the meeting, but unless I ask Jeremy to mute everyone, he can't unmute.
I can't unmute anyone. I don't have.
Yeah.
I can ask them to unmute, which I've clicked a few times.
Yeah. Okay, well, Diane, can you call in?
I wonder if she connected without audio by accident.
No, because when you were without audio, like the microphone doesn't even show up. But her microphone is showing up and it's muted.
Yeah, but without audio, it should show up as muted.
No, the microphone wouldn't even be there. That's how you were before.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Okay.
Now, at the beginning of the meeting, she was muted and I said hello and she unmuted and said hello.
That's right, she did. You know, if she gets to the
No.
participants, if she brings up the participants list, she can unmute from there too.
Jeremy, no.
The voicemail, Diane, was sent to us at 11:10 this morning. If you can hear that. The phone number is 929-205-6099. That's 929-205-6099. The meeting ID is 846-3858-8859. One more time, that's 846-3858-8859. And the password's 394.
Diane, can you type in the chat?
I'll have to turn on chat.
Jeremy probably disabled that.
Oh, okay.
I don't want the chat on.
Diane, can you get to the participant screen? So you can see the list of participants?
I think she's trying on her phone.
I see that. I don't know how she's going to leave the meeting if she can't get to that lower menu.
Jeremy, do you have Diane calling in?
I don't see her now.
Okay, so I'm not quite sure what to do at this point.
She's calling in now. Hello?
Yep, I hear you, Paul. Thanks.
Georgia.
Claudine, if she can't connect, but she can get to the participant screen, there's a spot, I think, where she can either raise her hand or say yes or no. So participation would be limited, but she could at least vote, I think.
You can unmute from there too. But she's got to be able to get to that screen.
That's what it's saying.
She should be calling in momentarily.
I see her on the phone again.
Diane? Could you acknowledge you're here? Star 6 to talk.
She's not here yet.
No, she's not. Jeremy's got to let her in. And I don't see her on the phone anymore. Diane?
Can she raise her hand to vote?
Well, I'm trying to get, I don't know if she's listening. I think she's trying to dial on her phone. Okay, she dialed. Let's see if she gets through.
Is she there?
Thought I heard something.
Diane?
Not yet. Jeremy's got to let her in.
Muting on.
All right.
Do we have her now?
Yes, she's in through the public conference.
Okay. Diane, acknowledge you can hear us.
Yes, I can.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. So let's see. So we're on the consent agenda. Let's see. I asked if anybody wanted anything pulled. I'm getting a lot of feedback here. Okay, so Lee pulled the executive session minutes. Diane, I'm assuming you want the regular meeting minutes pulled, correct?
Muting off.
Diane?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, both the regular and the executive.
Okay. Diane, why don't you stay off the mute? Just stay, don't mute yourself. Just stay the way you are.
Okay,
Okay, good.
okay.
All right. Let's see. So let's see. I'm seeing if there are any hands raised for questions. I don't see anything. Okay. So if we can have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of October 3rd, I'm sorry, to approve the consent agenda less the regular meeting minutes of October 13th and less the executive session minutes of October 13th.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Kissinger moved, Green seconded. Okay, take our roll call vote. Member Kissinger,
Aye.
Member Green,
Aye.
Member Allen,
Aye.
Member McFadden.
Aye.
Okay, and I'm an aye. Motion carries. Okay, let's have a motion to approve our regular meeting minutes of October 13th.
So moved.
Kissinger moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Member Green seconded. Okay. Member Kissinger,
Aye.
Member Green,
Aye.
Member Allen.
Abstain.
Yep, and Member McFadden.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, motion carries. All right, let's see. If we could have a motion to approve the executive session meeting minutes of October 13th.
Can't.
Wait, we have me, we have Paul,
And Cheryl.
and we have Cheryl.
And Diane and I weren't there.
All right, I know we go back and forth on this. I think it's fine, but
I
we
mean,
have
out
a
of an
quorum, but
abundance
we'll,
of caution, I don't
Yeah,
have a
let's
problem if you
postpone it.
hold them. They've already been sealed, so if you
Yeah.
need to get a quorum for the next meeting to actually approve them, I think
Alright.
that should be fine. I always, my general rule of thumb is it's a quorum, it's a quorum of the folks present, so.
okay. We'll postpone this for the next meeting. Okay, let's see. I do not believe we have any correspondence. Monthly subcommittee reports. I don't think we have any of those either. Jim, am I correct? There's nothing for subcommittee reports, right?
Well, I provided the policy subcommittee because we have the school safety, which is on the agenda under new business.
Okay, thanks. Okay, we'll go to new business. Let's see, so we have policy 2300, school safety plans. And it's specifically addressing emergency and crisis response management, amendment to section 3, definitions, adding requirement to adhere to Rhode Island Department of Health and CDC guidelines.
And the adjustments that are made to the policy are in red. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
Are we only adhering to that under emergency conditions, or is that for everything? All the time?
No, this is under emergency and crisis response.
Okay.
Cheryl, go ahead.
Okay, so I brought this up last time. I don't feel comfortable adding this into this this school safety plan, because I think the plan encompasses all different types of emergencies, and I think we will look at the emergency as they get here. But I think the language in here is appropriate, and I've always had trouble with the word guideline. Adhere to all guidelines. They're not laws. They're like, it's like advice. They tend to be flexible. I think the guidelines in this case have been, flip-floppy and not set in stone. And I don't know, I just don't feel comfortable adhering to guidelines when it's been very erratic, for lack of a better word, with this pandemic. I just think the language is good the way it is.
I agree with you, Cheryl, and I'm concerned that there are other things in those guidelines that might wind up further hampering us the way it's written.
Like, I can give an example if you want. Like right now I'm sure Jim can attest to this, we're having a lot of issues getting quick guidance from the Department of Health regarding cases. And I don't mean sicknesses, I mean cases. So kids are being quarantined for people that are testing positive but have zero symptoms. And they're missing school. And sometimes they only have school twice a week. So now they're missing, the in-person, which their parents really wanted. And a lot of parents would love them to be in more often than 2 days. And they're taking a long time getting back to people. So they're keeping the kids out for an abundance of caution, then finding out there's just a lot of stuff that I'm not impressed with myself. So adhering to a guideline to me doesn't make sense.
Okay, I don't see any other hands up. I'm fine with adding it. I think that we're a public school district, and I think that we have to adhere to Rhode Island Department of Health and CDC guidelines. So, but we're going to need somebody to make the motion. I don't know if anybody else is even going to make the motion. So, is there a motion to approve policy 2300 as amended to include a requirement to adhere to RIDO and CDC guidelines as appropriate under section 3? Okay, so I don't think we're going to get a motion. So Jim, I guess that's a no-go. We're not going to get a motion.
I was just curious, so Cheryl's point about adhering to guidelines, if it said adhere to all mandates, because we also had mandates that we had to follow.
Mandates can be considered law.
Mhm.
Guidelines are not law. And to Cheryl's point, they've been all over the place on the guidelines.
Well,
So if we change it to mandates,
that I
which we
agree with.
have to follow,
Yep.
Mandates you have to follow.
Cheryl, if we change that to adhere to all mandates, what are your thoughts?
I think it's better. I don't know what mandates you mean, Jim. Do you mean like,
Like, for example, we were told that in schools, masks are mandated. So we have to do that.
oh, that wasn't a good example for me, but okay.
Well, it wasn't.
I know. I'm
in
teasing because
executive order, but we were told that it was a mandate of the governor, for example.
yeah, I mean that word is better. But
The other piece that bothers me is, since when is the Center of Disease for Disease Control
making laws.
an authority?
True.
I don't have a problem if the Rhode Island Department of Health says it's mandated, but the Center for Disease Control is really just they provide guidance and direction, and then it's the health professionals that figure out how to make it work.
This is true. And I think that the whole pandemic has varied so much state by state that maybe we can get rid of CDC and just keep in our state Department of Health.
Yeah, I'd be I would be happy with mandate and Rhode Island Department of Health, and then I'd make the motion.
Get rid of the rest.
Andrew, you have any comments on this?
Yeah, I certainly don't want to muddy the waters. I was going to suggest a slightly different change and just maybe something, consider all guidelines of the CDC and Department of Health. That requires obviously just a consideration. You're not required to adopt them or accept them, but you consider them. If you agree with them, you'd put them in place. And if you didn't, you wouldn't.
Consider works.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I think that word is better.
So if it could be adhere to all mandates and consider all guidelines of RIDO and CDC?
I mean, it's up to you folks. I mean, honestly, a mandate is a mandate. If a mandate comes down from, you don't have a policy that says we'll abide by all executive orders of the governor, but we abide by all executive orders of the governor. I just thought that if it's consider all guidelines, then if CDC or the Department of Health issues something and you as a body, you want to consider them, that's exactly what you do. You consider them and you either accept them or don't accept them or tweak them as you see fit.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
open for that.
All right, good. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. So Lee, if you want to make the motion.
I'll make the motion to amend the wording to consider all guidelines of the Rhode Island Department of Health and the Center for Disease Control as appropriate.
Okay. So
To approve it.
under policy 2300, section 3, just so Robin gets all the pieces in there. Okay, so member Kissinger made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, member Green seconded. Any further questions or discussion? Okay, we'll take our roll call vote. Member Kissinger,
Aye.
member Green,
Aye.
member Allen,
Aye.
member McFadden.
Aye.
Okay, and I'm an aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll go to unfinished business. So we have the October 1st enrollment. Mr. Ross, is that you?
Yep, I've sent the initial enrollment to both towns. I've heard back from West Greenwich. There are four addresses that we're continuing to investigate. And I haven't had any feedback from Exeter as of yet. But we should have that ready by the end of the month and for the first school committee in November.
Very good. Any questions? Everybody's good?
Sounds good.
Okay. Let's see. So we have the 2020-21 reentry planning update. Jim?
Yeah, I don't have a lot under this. You know, I will just say that I agree. One of our issues that we have currently is getting things in a timely manner from the Department of Health as quarantines and positive cases are on the rise statewide. We have had a total of 4 positive cases in district, all children. 2 of the children are 100% distance learners, and 2 of the children were in-person learners. So, you know, it's been a challenge. The more cases that are out in the community, the more there are people, including staff, that are required to quarantine, family members, close contacts, whatever the case might be. And as we enter flu season, it's definitely something that we have to continue to watch. We did have a positive case this week already, and we did not get the information from the Department of Health yesterday. The case was yesterday. We did not get that information before the end of the day, as we were told we would. And as a result, we closed that classroom and told the kids in that classroom and the kids that ride the bus with the positive student that they were required to stay home and distance learn until we got the information from RIDO. And that information came to us at 9:45 this morning, even though the positive case was known early in the school day while kids were still present in school. So, you know, I did have the conversation at the state level today regarding the timeliness of the feedback to us, because, you know, we basically interrupted the schooling of a whole group of families that were not required to quarantine, but we had no idea based on, you know, lack of information from RIDO at the time. So that's our current issue that we continue to monitor and track. And, you know, attendance as we get into flu season is going to be problematic. That's going to be a statewide issue. But outside of that, things are going well. I mean, you know, the things that we've put in place are going well. Kids have been fantastic. Families have been fantastic. It's been very positive, relatively speaking, right? It's not perfect. We would prefer that things are back to normal, but under the circumstances, things have gone as well as we could have expected.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments for Jim? Everybody's good? Okay, capital project update bond discussion.
So Steve was over with the commissioning agent, the boiler this is Wawaloom. The boiler is up and running. It's been running since late last week. But they're going to put it through its paces and just make sure that, you know, all the systems that are functioning the way that they want to, they'll put it through their own paces that they have. And that's part of the contract we have with the commissioning agent to do that. So that's all good news. The bond discussion is, you know, the superintendent and I, we're working with Torado and we're responding to the additional information that RIDE requested. Just a lot of, in my estimation, and certainly the superintendent can chime in. I mean, we gave a stage 2 submittal for $90,000 and now we're redoing the same thing. Some parts over again. It seems redundant, but we're doing what we need to do, and that's all due by November 5th. So that should be fine. And not too soon. We just, we lost a day of school. That was a result of some pumps going down at the Metcalf school. Things just continue to, capital items continue to break, and Steve and his team do a great job of repairing them. So that's where we are.
Okay, thank you. Any
And-
questions or comments for Bob? Oh, go ahead, Jim, sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to reference, I did send just an FYI to the committee. We received word on Monday, which is yesterday, that the Department of Ed was moving forward with approving $4 million from the state capital fund for us to apply for reimbursement for any capital projects that needed to be done to address COVID modifications necessary for school reopening. Of course, that money, the $4 million, was distributed based on a formula, and the result is that we are entitled to $14,388 out of the $4 million. But
We're rich.
I know.
That's 9 HEPA filters.
Yeah. So, we do have an expense that we have kind of earmarked for this reimbursement, and it has to do with the airflow at Wawaloom. We did buy some additional machines that would filter the air and, get us to the required levels even during the winter months, because right now we are operating with the windows open, and when it's -5 degrees outside, that's going to be problematic. So we have a solution, and now we have a small pot of money that we're going to seek reimbursement for those expenses, once we submit. The thing about this is, because it's going through the School Business Authority, it does require the signature of all members of the school committee, all 7 members of the school committee, myself, and the lead financial officer. And it is due back to RIDE 2 days after our next school committee meeting. So, I mean, obviously the school committee can vote any way they want, but I can't imagine people voting not to accept reimbursement for expenses that we need to incur. But it will be on the agenda for the next meeting for a vote to approve it. And then I will need all 7 signatures so that it can be submitted within the 2 days after. One strategy would be that people could
God bless.
sign in advance. And then we would just not send it until the vote of the school committee at the next meeting. That way we ensure that we have all of the required signatures and we don't miss out on being eligible for the reimbursement, because the letter that we received did say that if they didn't hear back from us by the deadline, they would consider it as if we turned down the money. And I'm not in a position to do that. So, I think it would be wise for us to try to get signatures in advance so it's ready to go, and then we would not send it until after the vote at the next meeting. So that's kind of what we're trying to do between now and the November, I think it's 14th deadline.
There's
Yes,
no
you had an
personal
email.
guarantee clauses, right?
Yeah.
Say that again.
There are no personal guarantee clauses in this thing, right?
No.
Because the state's bankrupt,
But this is money that they're redirecting from that $250 million.
The bond.
Yeah.
No, I just just don't want them to come back after all these signatories, Hey, you guys got to pony up.
No.
All right, good. So if everybody can coordinate with Jim and Robin to go in and sign that. Cheryl, do you have a question? Your hand's up.
Well, I was just thinking, and then I stopped thinking about it. I know, would it make sense to meet in person that week, or because the cases are going up, people are still not comfortable? Be a quick.
Well, the reason we're not meeting is because there's still that 15-person limit on attendees at the meeting, and all of us take up about 8 or 9 of those. I think myself, Lee, Paul, Terry are all okay going into the office.
Oh, yeah, I can stop by
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah, if you don't mind just stopping by, I think we're going to keep everything status quo on Zoom for now. And I don't foresee that number changing anytime soon since cases are obviously spiking.
Last I heard, she was
today
gonna
it
go
was
back
going
to
down.
phase 2, so.
Yeah, she's got to, I'm sure she's going to go back.
I think that comment was made today, actually. I don't know that it happened today, but I think the comment was made that that's the direction we're headed.
I
What
think you're gonna
direction?
hear it from her tomorrow.
Yep. Lowering the size, the limits of
Mhm.
people in crowds, whether it's public, whether it's meeting, whatever the case is.
Well, we're just waiting for Boston announced on Thursday of last week that they've closed all the public schools and sent everybody home to distance learn because of the increase in cases. We assume that at some point this week, all the rest of the public schools in Mass will be doing the same thing. And if that happens, I imagine Governor Raimondo will follow suit.
Yeah, we've been asking and we've gotten no indication in either direction what the hand is. But we are prepared for that announcement to be made anytime, and then we'll move into the next phase of education, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, well, it's got a lot of parents in Massachusetts upset, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's hard.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, we're all set with the capital project bond discussion and Jim's comment on the signatures. Everybody's good? Okay.
Yep.
We have important dates and meetings, Tuesday, November 10th and Tuesday, November 24th. We have school committee meetings. And then the first meeting in December will be when we welcome new members and have our organizational meeting. Okay. Jim, anything else before we adjourn?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. So if we can have a motion to adjourn, we do not need executive session tonight.
So moved.
Second,
Kissinger moved,
Second.
Green seconded. Okay, Member Kissinger,
Aye.
Member Green,
aye.
Member Allen,
Aye.
Member McFadden.
Aye.
Okay, and I'm an aye. Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye.